Teamwork makes a dream work.
Yes.
I'm the parts now. How many times have I been up to town and back and like Chris forgot everything?
3 times, twice today. What's up, Brite Nation? As you know, the buggy runs. Brittany wishes, number one, she had a rearview mirror. Now that it has blinkers and everything, it needs a horn. She also wants a oh crap handle on the roof because she doesn't have one right now. And when she gets into those precarious situations, she likes to have a handle to hold on to. And I racked my brain for a while, but I think we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna take a regular straight bar and we're gonna go from that union straight to the back, and I'll probably put a little cross section in there, and I'm just gonna put one long bar in there. I'm gonna do that because when you're in a panic situation, she doesn't wanna miss the grab handle, you know? So if it's in one spot and she misses it, she could smack her head on the bar, or I don't know, be uncomfortable. So we're just gonna run that bar all the way down, and then the passenger and the driver can just grab for it and it'll be there. I will wrap it up and make it nice and soft. I'll probably wrap it with some sports tape or something so it like looks like a handle. So that's one thing we're gonna get in here. We are going to put brand new calipers all the way around, brand new brakes, and I have both diffs are kind of seeping and leaking, so we will take those apart, reseal those, and put those back on. 2 pinion seals and 2 diff covers. So, and then we get to put the body back on. So I was gonna take this little piece, put that right there, and then make a straight bar that went all the way over there. And after knocking it up, I definitely didn't like it. So then I came up with this little guy right here. I like this one much better. Just give this guy a little tap up here, and she snapped right in. Pretty awesome. So we're just gonna go ahead and clean that up and get that welded into there. Now you have a grab handle on both sides. All right, we got these 2 spots cleaned up. Right there, right there. You know what time it is now? It's Miller time. Ta-da! Woo! All right, all the way around that guy. All the way around that guy. Don't look too bad, but ready? That bar is done. Looks good. I'll get that painted up and then we'll wrap it with some sports tape so it's nice and soft and it feels like a handle. We'll get this painted first and then we'll get the mirror on. So we got it back up in the air because now we got to put the floors back in it. But I can already tell you they're not gonna fit like they did before, because this exhaust is much different than it was. So there was like a heat shield piece over it under the floor, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to modify that or make a new one. And the old floor was held in with a bunch of sheet metal screws, and that I hate sheet metal screws. Who puts stuff together with sheet metal screws? That's what we're gonna be working on now. I gotta find these panels and see if I can get them to fit. First up is this one. I know the old exhaust was much, I wouldn't say smaller, but it was just packaged different. So this used to sit down in there, but it won't fit over this part of the exhaust and under this bar. So I'm gonna have to cut that first. So we're gonna have to cut this guy to here to get this over that cat. Anything over that cat is gonna be better than nothing. And then I am going to probably heat line this as well, just to keep as much of the heat off of the floor as possible. I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do over this muffler. I'm not sure yet, but let's get this cut up and in there first, because I need to cut that guy right about there. So I'll have to cut this guy right here. Then we'll see what happens. And of course nothing goes as planned, right? So there she is right there. She's all lined up. But guess what's in the way? Yep, that O2 sensor. So we're gonna have to slot that over there on that side for that O2 sensor right here. I think what I'm gonna do is probably just hit this with a hole saw right about here and then just cut it out. Voila. All right, let's see if this fits. Right there. Nailed it. I don't know if you can see it. Perfect. So we're gonna get this bolted up. I should probably put some heat shielding in there first, huh? that'll stay out of the way, block a lot of the heat from the floor pan. Now I gotta find this piece. And hello, my pretty, not so pretty. That is the pile of stuff that was in here, and this is one of the ones that was on there with all sheet metal screwed on there. So I really want to change that. These already have inserts in it. It's hitting the exhaust and it's not going all the way down where it was, so we're probably gonna have to make a new panel for that. The way this bar is at a downward angle and then that one is parallel to basically this bar, I was going to have to build a panel and then break it from here up to this corner, so this would all be on the same plane, and then that would be on its own plane, but then all of this would be on its own plane. Blah, 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 blah. Kind of complicated. I mean, I had figured it out and I was going to do it, but then we have this bulge that we'd have to put in this because, as you can see from that plane, we have a little bump here we gotta accommodate for. I'm thinking, why am I gonna cut myself short here? Why don't I just take it back, go down 1.25 inches, and then just fill this whole panel? All of this tube is parallel with that one. So then I'll just build the floor, go all the way back to here, and not even worry about this bottom. Now the seats, I would have to raise all the seat mount points about 3/4 inch to clear that floor, because if you look over here on the seat, they didn't put any seat risers on here, and they actually welded a weird looking tab on that one. I mean, I could basically just extend these 1.5 inches, or not even 1.5 inches, like 3/4 inch. I need 1.5 inches here, which I could get away with if I just add like 1-inch tabs. I think I'm just gonna make a whole new floor, and then I can just make a little patch panel in between to cover up that little piece. I love using poster board. The thicker the better. So we're gonna get some dimensions on here, and that's how you do the dimensions. So we have a 2-inch lip and then a 1-inch down, and then we'll go 24 inches across. I don't remember what this measurement is, but I have a 1/2 inch reveal on both sides, so I'm going to break that side to keep it strong and stiff. A little bit of cutting and trimming. Template just lays in there nice. Then we just take our template here and we just cut it out of some 060, because I don't think I need 090. It's a little thicker. This is really thin because I'm going to heat wrap this anyway. So this is just basically to hold up the heat shield and create a barrier. So now we just got to go put these bends in it and that one across the back. This is what she looks like. She fits really good. So I'll use the 3 tab bolts that are right here to hold the front down. That goes with the front floor, and the holes for the seat and the seat belts and harnesses, and this guy's right there. We are clear the exhaust. So now I'm going to take this back out and I will heat shield the whole bottom of it just for more protection, and then we'll get this thing in there. And all we did was just use the same heat mat that we used before, and then I'll see if the driver one should fit, because we didn't make any changes on the driver side. But yeah, she just goes in here one-handed, just like that. We'll get these 3 holes drilled, and then we'll get the front one on here. 3 holes. Had to notch this because the front piece has a bracket that comes up under here. We're gonna go ahead and get that front piece in here and get the whole passenger floor in, just like that. Put some bolts in the front ones, and then we'll get the trans tunnel in and see about the driver side. Underneath the trans tunnel, I also did heat shielding underneath all of that. It doesn't really get hot. There's nothing under there. And also under the driver side panel, we did some heat shielding. So we're just going to go ahead and plop these 2 in, and then I'll try to see what I can find. I don't think there was one under the driver's seat, but I'm probably going to make one. So let's see what we got. Bam, something like that. Typical me fashion, right? Like, cause always. Pam put new calipers on this thing, and we were gonna just put new brakes on it, and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. If you notice this guy right here, the rear brake line comes across, and then it goes up this tube and across this door bar all the way the master, and then drops down. I am by no means a rocket scientist, but I can tell you that 3.5 feet of tube that runs above the master cylinder is probably a pretty good place for air bubbles to form, which is why this thing probably didn't have really good brakes to begin with. And I just can't do it. I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to change it and make it run down this bar and across, and just all the way across this and back up to the master. That's The smartest thing to do is not going to take me but like 10 minutes. So I am going to change it because I can't live with it. We're going to try to get this seat installed. See how this goes. All right, we got that beautiful new brake line ran down along underneath the seat, comes down and runs across that rail. I got to redo the front line. That's not right. I was just getting measurements, but that's later. But for now, we can get the seat in here, get this interior all put back together. All right, this morning we got the seat in, we got everything in, we got the brakes bled because Kevin went and got that last coupler I needed. Come on, right there. So we got everything going. We fired her all up, and then this happened. Yep, turned on the compressor, hit the front locker, and it was and out of the vent. So that meant we had an issue. So we took the cover off, and it was definitely coming from inside the carrier, not the ring. Yeah, so that led to having to do this. So we got this far, and now Pam, the professional locker rebuilder, is over here rebuilding a Dana 60 now. The bottom seal and everything doesn't leak. And it's not leaking here, so it means it's leaking at the piston inside. That's fun, because we can hear it leaking out of the other side of the diff. Pulling this cover off and see what she looks like inside. Now that we've gotten into it, this piston won't come out. It's definitely leaking past this piston when you supply air. So we gotta figure out how to get that out of there. And when I open it up, pretty sure that's a piece of O-ring right there, so I'm assuming the O-ring is disintegrated in there, or bad, deteriorated. You can hear it. Dang it! Now I just gotta figure out how to get that out of there. Miraculously, we got it out, but there's no O-ring in there, so I don't know why it's leaking so bad, but it was pretty bad. What are we gonna do here?
Dixie 4-wheel drive to the rescue.
That's right.
So I called up Dixie. They had a bonded seal, and
does that really say Lite Brite right on it?
Well, yeah, I told them to pull it for me, so nobody sold it. The new one is this little guy versus
it's metal backed instead of inverted
plastic ring.
Plastic piston.
That's got to be super old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like I can't believe that lasted that long.
I can't find this in the catalog anywhere.
Yeah.
The newest one looks like that. So this.
Yeah, I can't believe that lasted that long. So that, and then you showed them the broken hub.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't. So I don't know how long this has been broken because Brittany never unlocks the hub. So I think it's just been locked and together. Wait, remember that one time? Remember that one time she was up against the wall and all of a sudden the right front wasn't spinning? And I was like, oh, she unlocked her own hub because these stick out so far.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it could have been broken for a long time, but luckily, we got some new hubs.
Ooh.
So what I do want to do is get rid of these and just put slugs in there. So that it's just basically this with a cap. And so you don't have...
Yeah, it gets rid of this height too. You don't have this hub height.
That'll be really nice.
Someday.
Really nice. So
next time. But we got to get this thing back together so that we can drive it. Hopefully by the end of the day.
Yeah, you got this.
Oh yeah, totally. That's what I said 2 days ago when I had it, and then things just kept.
Hey, at least Dixie's in town. I was seriously surprised that our little town now, I was able to go get an ARB bonded seal and some hubs, and they were able to get cool rock crawler stuff.
Yay!
So now we're gonna put it together and hope it works this time. Just
give her a little. Not too far on one side. Yeah,
should be sitting pretty.
That'll finish it up. Just put it in there, and it'll push on it evenly. And then good to go. Teamwork makes a dream work.
Yes.
I'm the parts bitch now. How many times have I been up to town and back and Chris forgot everything?
3 times, twice today?
So Kevin, what trip number is this back to town?
It's too many. I think it's like trip 5 between Cedar City and St. George. Okay, so I told him that I needed a 35 spline, and he thought he gave me a 40 spline or something, but it's actually a 30 spline is what I bought, but we need a 35 spline, if all that makes sense. Anyway, Holly, Mrs. Mischief Maker, she has a spare 35 spline. So I'm gonna go down to Holly's shop, gonna pick up the hub from her as a spare, but I'm also gonna order some just lockouts, and maybe they'll get here before we use the buggy, maybe they won't, but at least it'll be ready and drivable. So that's the plan.
All right, so we were in a pretty big rush this morning to get the tires and stuff back on because we have a winter storm coming, and I wanted to get it over in this bay without being covered in snow, but she's back together. We did swap out the master cylinders. It had smaller masters on there, and she was having a hard time stop before, and even this time, like, it would just drive right through. So I threw some 1-inch masters on here that we had off of the bomber that we kept. So she seems to be stopping pretty well now. We did put the wheels back on it. We did get that hub fixed. We did get the locker working, but we have one more thing to do. Kevin was on the phone with the guys over at ADS because the spring package has never quite been right on this, and it was coming down to almost being done. So he wanted to order some springs, get some springs on here to make it work a little bit better. So they set us up with some spring numbers. We have some new, we'll put some new springs on there. But while Kevin was on the phone with ADS, they decided to send us coilovers too. So these are 2.5-inch reservoir coilovers. They don't make anything smaller than this, and Brite's Buggy has 2 O's on it. So they were like, well, we can send you some 2.5s. So we're gonna go ahead and get these things on here today. And like just everything else on this build, nothing is an easy swap. So the old Bilsteins were 1.25-inch eyelets up here, or whoever built it made them 1.25-inch eyelets. Also down here, this is only 1.25-inch. This little guy right there. And as you know, or if you don't know, the ADSs are 1.5-inch. So I get to cut all that stuff off. And luckily, in my little parts bin, I have a bunch of used, stuff from other builds that we didn't use, or things I've ordered and we didn't use. So we are going to use Dynatrac stock Jeep lower axle shock pickups that we didn't use when we built the Stepchild, because Stepchild was a little different. And I don't remember what these were from, but I have 2 of these laying around too. These also might have been off of the Dynatrac axles or whatever. But now we're gonna chop these things off. Got to pull these eyelet ones off, pull these guys off and those ones off, and welder these guys off. Alright, so we got all the tabs cut off and ground down, and it looks pretty good. Apparently they've cut a lot of these off because there's a lot of grind marks up in here and a lot of previous weld. So we got them off. Now we have it bumped all the way out. We have it sitting all the way down. So what we're going to do now is get them in here fully collapsed and see where we can get them and get the tabs welded in fully collapsed. In the rear, everything fits. This is 1.5 inches already, so that's a good. That is a little bit bigger. I'm gonna have to shim it, which is fine. We're gonna have to go get bolts, but we are also kind of limited in the rear to whatever. This is as far as it'll bump in the rear because the upper arms, those upper arms right there, which you really can't tell, they hit that frame way back there. So this is as low as she's gonna go in the back, which is fine. Oh, so let's get some of these things mounted. Now we gotta go put that end on. So you're gonna go right about there. All right, we got it all flexed out, almost flexed out. And it looks like we are clear of everybody. The bolts are all in good locations. Nobody's binding. Everybody looks like it's gonna be happy, 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 happy. So now we get her back on the ground. We get it all welded up. And then we move to the back because the back might have issues. All right, front's all welded up. We got them all painted up. So we will put those back on in a little bit. Here's the dilemma we have in the rear. So I've already started to articulate it, and you can see that this misalignment bolt, I don't know if you can see, but this misalignment bolt is already misaligned as far as the Heims will let it go, and we still have to go more. So they're in the wrong orientation. So I'm gonna have to cut those off and make the eyelets go, make the bolt hole go this way so that it swings this way. So I don't know who designed this idea, but we're gonna have to chop that off too. Like this side is just now getting parallel, perpendicular, and even up here, that bolt's a little suspect already, but it does clear, it does make it. So when it does go into full bump and the shock actually goes out the farthest it will go, that misalignment is still just barely okay, so I don't have to redo the top, thank God, because that would suck. But the bottoms, we're gonna have to cut these tabs off also and mount them sideways, so yay. Alrighty, so last night I got the tabs cut off and all polished up to tubes, and I have these tabs that I was gonna use for something else, I don't remember. But these are what we're gonna use now. Just stack them on there like this way, because the axle swings this way, so I want that bolt to swing that way. If it's this way, I'm relying on the Heim and the misalignment of the shock bottom to do the articulation, and those don't have much as far as articulation in the Heim end. We're gonna go ahead and get these guys mounted up on here, mocked up, tacked in, and then we'll do some articulation back here and make sure we're in the right spots. All right, and at full droop, or full bump, this is what we got. She's bottomed out, and what I did is I rotated this eyelet all the way standing up, because as this axle swings out, this misalignment should get better. So we have a little bit of room, and as you can see, if I pull this out, that's as far as the upper eyelet will go. It's binding out here, so I want to give it a little bit, and this is the worst it'll be is here, because as it goes down, it's gonna get longer, and as it goes into articulation, this shock will come in. So this is the worst misalignment that will have, and this lower. So this is we're gonna go ahead and get her tacked on right here, and then raise it up and see what happens. She should articulate really well now, because now it'll articulate on this axis instead of the bolt being the other way and relying on the eyelet to do the misalignment. So it looks pretty good so far. Let's get her tacked on there and see what happens. Yeah, and as you can see, that's pretty square now. So even at full droop, it's pretty square, so there's no bind. This angle is much happier. Everybody's happier. So she should work out pretty well. We're gonna go ahead and burn these on there and get all this painted up and all that one painted up, and then we'll get the springies on there. Look at this monster truck. Coilovers are on it, and she's at full droop. We haven't let it down yet. We literally just let the winch out to get the front coilovers on. Everybody is all the way up. Here, you do it. I'll let it down. You do it.
Oh, okay. I want it to sit all the way down. It looked sick when it was on bump stops, to be honest. Where are the cans at? The one up front? Oh, we're not there yet. Okay. So we have no preload in this at all. It's all, oh wait, we didn't nitrogen them. Dang it. You gotta go all the way back up. We gotta nitrogen them while they're at full extension. Yeah, because it's almost on the bump. We might have to put a little preload in it. That's fine. I love the low look with the big tires.
Just 20 and a half?
20 and a half.
And I wanted it at 20, so that's right, but we can't. I don't know if we can do 20. We can't do 20.
Why not? Oh, you got 3 inches showing right now.
Yeah. I mean, because you need some up travel.
Well, and those bumps go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got like
We haven't had time to do the bumps yet, so that's going to come. That'll come later, I guess, at some point.
Boom! The rear has so much.
I was going to say the rear. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're off, but there's no weight back here.
I was going to say. There. Yeah, it just. Oh, hit the rack. Yeah, there's no weight. That's good.
It sits level though. I'm pretty happy about that. Like right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's just a lot more
Right,
travel.
pull down on the back. Yeah. Well, and she needs to not come crashing down, so the rear needs to sit. We'll lift it back up, put nitrogen in it, and then get it, and then we'll adjust the coilover so it's sitting level, front and rear. Sick.
All right, so we got some nitrogen in the shocks, and it's going down again, and it is sitting considerably higher. I knew it would.
Well, once just.
A little bit. It is. It's probably sitting about an inch higher than it was.
That's exactly
so
where
it's probably right where she needs to be. Nice. In the rear. How's the rake look? Yeah, she looks good.
Hold on. Bubble meter.
He's got the bubble meter.
What's it called?
Level? It's a level. It's a level, Kevin.
Is it a level?
It's a level.
How level is it? Goddamn 89 degrees.
The degree off. Which way? I don't know. Oh,
Actually, it's the button.
Oh, he's got a button.
Hold on. Let's do it this way. There. No button. Dang, there's no way.
There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways.
How would it be?
Icrometers. Bam, I'll take it.
That's crazy. No.
Yeah, we're off.
That says 90.
We're off.
Well, hold on, mate. Let's put the fat ass driver in it and see what happens.
I think it's just fine. Oh, get you on. Oh, yeah, she's.
Oh God!
Look at this boat. All right, she should be really fun.
It might need a little more spring, or
I don't know. Let's go drive it. There she is. Oh,
Yeah, it's just going.
the ECU is still learning because we haven't driven it yet. She sounds amazing.
Sounds good.
Heck yeah.
Neutral.
In neutral. Well, we gotta go put some miles on her and get her to learn the ECU thing, but she runs good.
All right, so Chris knocked it out. Chris did a hell of a job. Buggy's mostly all working. It's driving. It idles. It starts. All the
We're
lockers work.
99% sure it works fine.
Well, I mean, that's what we're gonna go do is test it now.
That's
Well,
right.
not we. Brittany's gonna go test it.
Brittany's gonna go test
She hasn't
it.
been a part of any of this, but the EFI, the Holly EFI, that Sniper 2, fired right up. I drove it down the street. Feels great. The brakes are the only thing we're having an issue with. So
We're not sure what the issue is. We changed masters. It might be the handbrake thing. We're just not sure.
yeah, it's just
And it's never really had brakes either.
right. This isn't a new thing.
No.
It's just it's just we weren't able to.
Thought we
really-
were gonna correct it.
Yeah, it's a little better, but and then you had the shocks. You had to go do a whole custom setup. Oh, do we show them all mounted? So
Oh no, maybe not.
that's where the cans are. No, it just looks good. That's where they went right there, and those go right there. Bloop. We're gonna go head down to Sand Hollow because it's supposed to be like 60 today and nice out. And Brittany's gonna go test out her freshly done buggy. Thank you, sir, for your help. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, stay tuned for Brittany. Hopefully not flopping her brand new. I shouldn't say that.
No.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Fine.
The thing's a beast, and now it
So
actually
check out these spring
it has
settings.
it has a front locker now, and it has a right hub that's not shattered.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Oh, that's him.
It's a toughie when you haven't done it in a minute.
It is. I haven't done it in a minute. Remember, you can find all your Lite Brite Nation merch and decals at litebritstudios.com. We love you guys, and we'll see you next
later.
time. Bye, guys.
Bye.